Hey Ken,
Hey,
what are some tips you have on how I can save money on a small budget, given the current changes with rising costs?
great question. Obviously, there's a lot going on at the moment with cost rising, inflation, and so on. Beyond all the usual ideas that we share on this channel around things like coupons, meal planning, and using a budget and stuff like that, the very first thing I'd say you should do is to look to sell unwanted items around your home.
What are some unwanted items that people can sell?
Do you know what? There's always stuff you can sell around your house. So, like, take our house, for example. I looked around recently. I've got an old kind of stereo system that we used to use. That's just there. It's ready to be sold. We've taken pictures of it. We've got some old furniture, stuff that our kids used to use that need to be sold as well. And there's a bunch of other things, clothing and stuff like that. A lot of people can go around their house, literally get yourself a notepad and just write down things, take pictures of them literally as you see them on your phone and get them ready to be sold for some money. The second thing you can do is to barter or trade goods and services. So imagine you've got certain skill sets right now. Rather than paying for certain things that you might have planned to spend money on, how about swapping your existing skill with somebody else who can offer those services to you instead?
Okay, that sounds good. Do you have any examples from your own life?
All right, so I once had someone who, when we were starting Humble Penny, who I needed somebody to do some graphic design work for us. Yeah. This lady who's based in America, although I'd hired her as somebody to work with, she'd finished working for us, but then we came up with an arrangement where we'd barter. She'd offer me some graphic design services and I'd offer her some financial coaching for her finances and so on. So that's a really good example. And literally everybody has something they can barter with somebody else as a way of saving money as well. So another unusual idea is carpooling or biking to work. Now with carpooling, as the name suggests, you're coming together with somebody else who has a car instead, and you're all going in one car either to work or things like that as a way of saving money. Energy prices are really high. It's a really good way to try and save money on a monthly basis.
Do you have any practical examples of when you've done this?
All right, so a really good example is a really good friend of ours who her children go to the same school as our children. And we recently had a conversation where we don't live too far away from each other, right? And she and her husband were like, you know what? We keep seeing each other at school runs. Why don't we just do a thing where you guys drop off, we do the pickup and so on. That way, we get back a bit more of our time and we save some money at the same time by doing that.
I like that.
So my next tip is to use energy efficient appliances and light bulbs. Now I know this one might not be for someone who's actually got literally no money. I kind of see this one as a medium-term investment because it's a great way of replacing all those bulbs around your house in order to save money in the medium term.
Are these light bulbs affordable?
Do you know what? It's a great question you actually asked because I've been to like B&Q and stuff and light bulbs are not cheap. But the energy efficient bulbs like your LEDs and so on, they're a bit more expensive. I've got to admit on that. However, what you find is that they tend to last you a lot longer and they're obviously much more efficient and they definitely save you a bit more money. Now I've just been flicking through on my phone. There's a website called energysavingtrust.org, which I'll link to below. If you want to go and check it out. What I found is that you can switch from the old style kind of incandescent bulbs to LEDs. And if you did that, a 100-watt incandescent bulb can save you up to £15 per bulb per year in savings. That's 100 watt. And obviously there are different savings for different watts of bulbs. And if you switch from like a halogen bulb to an LED, a 50-watt halogen bulb, if you did that swap, would save you up to £6 per bulb per year. So, it sounds like, like small change. But to be honest, if you start to do that for so many bulbs across the house,
it adds up.
It can add up a lot, can't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely adds up.
All right, so this next one's really unusual, since you asked for unusual ideas. This next one's about growing your own food. So we've all seen it with cost of living crisis. Prices are rising. Anytime I go to the local shop, prices are literally going up every single time. So why not try and grow our own food? Now, I know obviously not everybody has the space to grow food, but I've also been seeing some creators online, and I'll mention some of them for you to see up on the screen. One of them is someone who I follow on Instagram, and they essentially show you how to grow food in small spaces. Whether you've got a small garden, a small outdoor space, or even a small indoor space for growing your food.
So if you don't have a green thumb, you're a beginner, what is the easiest one to start growing first?
Yeah, so that's a great question because you don't want to plant something or grow something and then wait like forever to harvest your crops. No one's got time for that. You're talking here like your herbs and your leafy greens. So with your leafy greens, I'm talking here like your kale and your spinach and things like that. Those can be harvested in a period of around 6 to 8 weeks. And these are packed full of lots of nutrients, particularly if you're someone who is switching to perhaps a more plant-based diet and stuff like that. Those definitely come in handy. And then from a herbs perspective, you're talking the likes of basil, parsley, mint. Again, those are really easy to grow and can be harvested fairly quickly. Then you've got the likes of tomatoes as well, which are, I love tomatoes of different varieties, different colors and so on. They're easy, they're kind of low maintenance and can be harvested in a period of around 2 to 3 months.
Okay, these are really good. Keep them coming. What other unusual ideas do you have?
Do you know what? Thinking about it, a really good idea, a good way to save money is to get yourself a roommate. Now, I know this one's a bit, not everybody wants to give up the comfort of their own space, but it's a really good way of getting someone in to get some money in whilst also splitting some of the costs, right? So it's definitely something I'd highly recommend because I've done this myself back when I was a young man, living by myself. It's definitely something I found valuable as a way of trying to save some money.
Okay, so if I want to get a roommate, how do I practically go about doing this?
Okay, so there are some really cool online platforms that are a good place to start. And obviously there are lots of different ways of doing it, like, local boards where you can place ads and so on. But I find the online ones really helpful. Now, looking at my phone right now, I can see here there are great websites like Spare Room, you can check out, Easy Roommate, Room Buddies. All these various platforms allow you to create a profile that you can then advertise for a potential roommate. And then obviously from there you can either have direct conversations with these people or go through that process of vetting and so on to try and get the ideal roommate. And then the final unusual tip I've got is to try to negotiate your bills down. So at the moment, with the current economic climate, everywhere you look, bills are going up left, right, and center. Now you might be thinking to yourself, do you know what? I don't think I've got any chance at all to try and get my bills down. However, there are things that you can do to try and get your bills down. And I know this because I did this recently.
So how do you suggest I go about doing this? Do you share?
I knew you were going to ask that question. So one thing I did recently, and this was for our internet bill with our broadband provider. I called them up. My tactic was very simple. First of all, be very nice to people on the phone. Because the person on the other side of the phone, because I've worked at those call centers, I know, they're just human just like you, right? So if you start off being really warm, really courteous, really nice, you're already winning the battle before you've even asked for any kind of a discount and so on. There's a great saying, I love it. That saying is, dig your well before you're thirsty. So being nice to somebody is a great way of kind of digging your well initially before you start to then ask them for something. What are the things you can do? And before you make this call, is kind of look around and see and research what other providers exist for what you're trying to negotiate and what are they offering at the moment for what you're getting, the sort of service you're getting. And you make that call and then begin by actually, obviously, being nice to them, but talk about loyalty. I find loyalty is a really good bargaining tool. I've been with you guys for so long. I always use this all the time. Like, I've been with you guys for 7 years. I've been a consistent customer, never missed a bill, that kind of stuff. Although it's a really old kind of excuse that people use as a way of trying to get a discount, it has worked consistently again and again. And then if that fails, not that it would fail, but if it does fail, then you can talk about other competitors, places you've seen great offers that might then make them think, do you know what? We want to keep this person for a bit longer because they've been a loyal customer. I might look to offer them a great deal. I know this because I did this recently and I got a significant discount on our broadband. And of course, because it's a monthly payment, that discount carries on month after month, potentially for quite some time, at least 18 to 24 months, depending on how long your contract is for.
That all sounds amazing. So what kind of things can I actually negotiate, please?
Do you know what? You can negotiate various things. So I've just talked about broadband. So TV packages is a great one, although to be honest with you, I'd get rid of a TV package if you can. It's almost the best way to save money. But if you had to keep onto your TV package, you can obviously go and negotiate that, particularly when they're offering you a combo deal. Say, for example, a combo of a TV package and a mobile phone deal or a landline, if people still use landlines, those kinds of things. So essentially, anything you pay for can be negotiated, although not every single thing, but most things can be negotiated.
This has been brilliant. If I wanted to stay updated on how I can save more money, different ways, different ideas, where should I go?
Come on, you should be subscribed to The Humble Penny already. If you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button right there. Are you actually subscribed? I should ask you.
I'm doing it right now.
You're doing it right now? Yeah, okay. I'm going to be watching my phone. Watching closely to see if I go up by 1 subscriber. Hit the subscribe button, hit the notifications bell.
I've subscribed, I've hit the notifications bell.
Oh yeah, I've just been told.
Yeah.
I've just been told. All right, thank you guys so much for watching today's video. And as always, in all things, be thankful and seek joy. Take care. Bye.